Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to OEW Review. I'm Art Johnson, and alongside me is my colleague, the Rowdy Cowboy Jeff Coyote. Tonight we will be going over the events of OEW Rush. What do you say, Jeff? Ready to kick things off?
Yes, sir. I tell you what, get her done, brother. Let's do it.
Alright, the show opened up with a promo from the Feral Wolf, where he goes on to say that he'll take on everybody that Evan Briggs throws at him, and thus far, he's already lived up to his word. Now, Jeff, it's to my understanding that you aren't one of Wolf's biggest fans due to his actions against some of our OEW vixens.
Well, that's right. See, one thing about it, women in the South, guys don't beat up on them like that. That ain't right. And when that happens, guys beat up the creeps that would put their hands on a woman like that. So it's my nature to get angry when I see Feral Wolf do what he did to someone like Hope Prater or anybody like that. So he rubbed me the wrong way as soon as I came into the OEW.
I'll bet, and I agree completely. You don't put your hands on a woman, especially here in the OEW or anywhere else for that matter. Moving on, the first match of the evening saw the OEW Intercontinental Champion, the Samoan Savage Unganji Ugajan, taking on the returning Braden Lethal Dosage Carson. In typical Brigade fashion, OEW co-owner Evan Briggs and fellow Brigade member and Cruiserweight Champion Grand Muta accompanied Unganji to the ring. This was an intense matchup. As a non-wrestler myself, I thought Unganji would make quick work of Braden, but to my surprise, Braden showed a lot of heart and put up one heck of a fight. In the end, though, the Samoan Savage came out with the win. Did you see things going differently?
Well, I'll tell you what, to me, it was like the Clash of the Giants. You had Braden, who was taller than Unganji, and Unganji, though he was not as tall, he was a lot more powerful. And what surprised me was when Unganji was lifted up by Braden and he actually vertical suplexed the Samoan Savage. That surprised me. Otherwise, the Samoan Savage, Unganji, he pretty much had most of the match, and when he won, I was not surprised. I expected it.
Oh, definitely. And going back to that suplex, that was no ordinary vertical suplex. He superplexed him from the top turnbuckle all the way out to the outside, and I swear I was watching in the back, and I could have sworn I felt the ground shake with that one.
I'll tell you what, buddy, that was something to see. And that'll go down in the history books of one of the most powerful moves ever done in the OEW.
And one of its most amazing sights. Shortly after this, the cameras cut to the back where a brawl broke out between the Feral Wolf and relative newcomer Miguel Santos. Miguel put up a valiant effort, but in the end, Wolf made a statement with a sickening powerbomb to the concrete. He also took out a cameraman in the process. What were your thoughts on this?
Well, I already don't like that feller. And then for him to beat up on a cameraman, that's just par for his course. He beats up women and then he beats up people that ain't wrestlers. You know what that tells me about him? Yeah, he wants a world championship, and yeah, he's not happy with Evan Briggs, but he's a bully. Foremost, somebody's got to stop that man.
I certainly hope so, because this path of destruction cannot continue on any further, and from my point of view, I hope he gets docked and paid for hitting someone that's not supposed to be in the ring with a professional wrestler such as himself.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think they got to do something. Because if they don't, that means none of us that are not wrestlers are safe. But let me give you a little secret. I carry on me all the time a .357 Magnum. I have a permit. So he puts his hands on me, he's going to wind up in the hospital.
Oh, I'll have to get one of those myself just in case. Never know when that crazy man is going to attack. We go back to the ring shortly after, where Hoist Fang entered and explained why he jumped the current OEW DCWF Interpromotional Champion Ryan Fury. Shortly after, Ryan hit the ring and the two men began to brawl. Then from out of nowhere, the Freight Train, Brandon Exito, and Sammy Portal joined the fray. Not having any of it, Evan Briggs made his way to the ramp along with Muta, and it was there the main event was revealed. Ryan Fury and Sammy Portal versus Hoist Fang and Brandon Exito. Jeff, were you surprised at all that Evan Briggs was so willing to allow Ryan Fury to perform last night, seeing as how not too long ago he fired Ryan from the OEW?
Well, I was surprised for two things. Number one, I was surprised that he let Ryan Fury wrestle. Only one thing about it, though, Ryan Fury is intra-promotional, so that kind of gives him a right. The other thing, Ryan Fury wanted to make the tag team match on his terms, and do you know Evan Briggs said, all right? So that'll separate your head from your shoulders, brother.
Oh yeah, definitely made my head spin. I mean, as soon as I heard him agree with someone that wasn't in his personal cabinet, I was like, wait a minute, is this opposite day? It was an amazing sight.
And you know what? The beneficiaries are always the fans. I always say that, and I mean it. Because anything that's strange, anything that's unusual, whew, what a boring federation this would be if everything went as planned.
It's like you always say, anything can happen in the OEW.
Yes, sir. And it does.
Indeed. Next up, we had the Vixens match. And I know just how much you love these ones, Jeff, especially when one of your favorites, Blue Bayou Westland, took on the Face of Lace, Nina Prater. Before the match began, Nina was again presented with another phony FedEx in the match. And for the most part of the match, the Face of Lace dominated the smaller Vixen. Then from out of nowhere, the FedEx delivery man pulled Nina from the ring when the ref's back was turned and laid her out. That interference right there cost Nina the match. I know that got you a bit hot under the collar, huh, Jeff?
I'll tell you what, I was madder than a bulldog with got a beefsteak took out his mouth. Man, to see that happen, that was terrible. And that FedEx feller, I told Brett, I said, when we catch him, if you beat the crap out of him, let me have some, and then let's save him so that Nina can have some. Maybe give Nina some money and shove some dollar bills down his mouth.
That man does not have a bright future ahead of him at all, especially if he ever crosses your path or Brett's path.
That's right, because I may not be a wrestler, but I know how to fight. I've been in a few bar fights, so I do know.
And something tells me that guy never even threw a punch in his entire life. And finally, we move on to the main event, where Hoist Fang and the Freight Train, Brandon Exito, took on the Rage, Ryan Fury, and Sammy Portal. From where I sat in this match, it seemed to be mostly dominated by Hoist and Brandon. And towards the end, something happened that led to the end of the match. You Jeff, you got up close and personal with the DCWF OEW Interpromotional Champion.
Well, up close and personal, he was thrown on the desk, on the commentator's desk, and I had to jump back so he didn't crash into me. If you call that close and personal. But as far as that match goes, yes, I agree. Brandon Zito, let me tell you, the Freight Train is impressive. He's yet to lose a match. He's big. You talking about Brandon and Hoist dominating most of the match? I would say that it was Brandon who did most of that dominating. And I see a bright future in the OEW for Brandon Zito.
Same here. I mean, I fully agree. He's got the sky is the limit as far as he's concerned. Well, folks, that's all the time we have here for tonight. Don't forget, next week, starting Monday the 21st, OEW goes international. And also, do not forget that this Thursday, OEW Adrenaline, 4 p.m. SLT. For the Rowdy Cowboy, Jeff Coyote, I'm Art Johnson. Good night, everybody.